Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to be talking about the For Honor release, mostly more about the technical aspect of what people are having issue with the game. And to my surprise, I'm surprised it wasn't like a negative or it's just barely mixed. It's like mostly positive on Steam. But, because usually a Ubisoft title is never going to come out as a perfect launch. But this one, I was expecting this game to be pretty good. Gameplay wise and how it runs, I think it seems pretty fine to me. I haven't played it. I've seen other people play it. The performance looks about, A-okay, for a launch AAA game. But now there's a bit of a... On Steam, I've been seeing like the reviews because I want to see, is this game really worth it? Well, obviously I don't like paying $60 for these games. Also, I'm too busy with our own game we're working on, and people have been complaining a lot about it's a $60 game, microtransactions. I'm going to probably make a whole nother video on microtransactions, but this video is about servers and what's the issue with the servers in For Honor. So, a lot of people have been talking about that they only have peer-to-peer servers. Now, I'm making this video to explain this because I know there's going to be people who don't really know what this kind of stuff is, and I do. So, and I'm going to try to make it simple. So, and it's not really that kind of hard of a concept to really, grasp. But to make it simple, a peer-to-peer server is pretty much, say, I launch a game and a friend and I want to play together. Well, I would say create server. Like something like Terraria, start a server, and I am now the host. The host is also kind of like a client in a sense, but the host is the host, whatever. And then a client joins, which is your friend, and he can get on. And then all your other friends can come and join as well. So, the problem with peer-to-peer is that if the host leaves, well, guess what? The whole server's down. If you've ever played Call of Duty on consoles or anything, you know that you've probably experienced that multiple times where someone who is the host, probably they may or may not know who they're the host, forget they're the host, leave the game, and everybody's now gone, and then now everybody has to someone has to be the new host, and or join another game. So that's really one of the biggest issues with peer-to-peer is just that happens. And I can understand why for a game like For Honor, which is a 4v4 game, which, it can people might get a little angry and that person might be the host and just disconnect and screw everybody over. I personally, I don't think peer-to-peer is such a bad idea to use, but for something like this, I believe it shouldn't really be there. But I'll explain that a little bit more. I use peer-to-peer in Shine Dark. Host server, person hosts server. They don't have to do anything. Just click the join, which is one of the good things about peer-to-peer most of the time is you don't really have to do any kind of setup. You just, with most games nowadays, you just click host, and if there's like the most you'd probably be doing is like opening up a a port on your router, but I believe with Steam, it already has that port open. They use an open port for that, if it's using Steamworks. But yeah, it just makes it quick and easy to just, get in a game and play with your friends. And also, this is another thing, too, is like, actually, I'll probably get on that when I start talking about this, but, now, people really like dedicated servers. Whenever people say there's dedicated servers, everybody, creams in their pants and all that. And I'm like, yeah, dedicated servers are great. They're really useful. And if you don't know what a dedicated server is, they're just servers that are usually made to stay up for, 24 hours. They stay up as long until someone shuts down the program. Usually there's a separate, program, maybe just opens up a command prompt and it just says server, who's in it, whatever. Some people make special applications just to launch certain game dedicated servers. And the problem with dedicated servers is there's a lot of setup to it. You have to make sure you have everything right. You gotta test it out. So for something like consoles, like casual players can't set up the servers. Plus, it's also PSN and Microsoft who are running these dedicated servers all the time. And so, for the casual crowd, like Call of Duty they usually just go with peer-to-peer because it's just easier. Another problem with dedicated servers is if like for some reason the company's like, alright, we're not going to support this game no longer, we're shutting down the servers, well, nobody can play the fucking game anymore. Which is actually an issue I have with when game developers do that. Like, it's like their game, even no matter how bad it is, like it's still most games that are usually big and multiplayer that shut down, like they're part of history. We got to keep those things alive, and it's just kind of sad to see something die like that. But yeah, like dedicated servers, once they shut down, they're gone for good, unless like they bring them up or something. And now people are like, oh, we want dedicated servers for Honor. Well, it'd be great. Dedicated servers for Honor, and allow people to host their own dedicated servers as well, which would kind of help it stay alive. Usually a lot of games with dedicated available dedicated servers, like something like Team Fortress 2, can stay alive forever because people are still going to be playing them. People are going to be hosting these servers. Games like Quake are still like alive today because there are people running dedicated servers. The Dreamcast has dedicated servers running currently for Quake 3, and nobody really plays it much. It's kind of more of a niche thing. You have to probably set up a game with a few other people. But that's like one of the great things about having a dedicated server, though, is just that. Also, with peer-to-peer, you're going to have these issues where if the host has terrible internet, you're going to be having a bad time. So you're going to be lagging, everybody's going to be lagging. But with dedicated servers, usually it's like being hosted in one server. Someone like me would be hosting it, or I would pay someone online to host it for me on their servers. And that stuff is actually pretty cheap when I look at it. One good example would be like Minecraft servers. There's like a website I have up here. They have like these decent plans, like, you can see how many people like it's recommended to play on these servers depending on the plan you have. So like if you plan on making a dedicated server that it's gonna have a lot of people in it, you can pay like $80, a bit over $80, right? $85 just to have like a pretty big amount of people, 400 people on your server. Depends on what you're going for. And the thing is, Ubisoft is already making a lot of money off of this game. They already have microtransactions. They have a season pass. I mean, all that stuff is ridiculous, and I don't like it. I don't support those. I don't support that at all. And yet they don't have their own dedicated servers. I'm not saying they should get rid of peer-to-peer. I think peer-to-peer will be useful once they stop giving a shit about For Honor. Once they just decided, hey, it's dead. Let's get this out of it. Let's just get out of this. Like nobody wants to be like have a $60 game that they paid for, and just now the server's down. The servers are dead. Can't play anymore. Fuck. What a waste. It's only a multiplayer game. Especially, I'm not sure if it's only multiplayer. I'm pretty sure it is, but maybe there is like a single player thing. I'll actually check that right now. Yeah, it does have single player apparently. That's what it says on the Steam page. It's probably not that great, but yeah. But like something, if you had a hybrid, it'd be nice, running people being, well, nobody would be able to run dedicated servers. It would just only be Ubisoft running it. And, they might be like, oh, it's expensive to run servers. If that's their excuse, then they're lying, because server costs are pretty cheap. They're pretty cheap to run nowadays. Like MMOs, they still, like some MMOs like World of Warcraft charge, and server maintenance and all that stuff. You have to think about the cost, the new updates that come out. Guild Wars 2 is a one-time pay thing, but they do have microtransactions in Guild Wars 2. Well, now Guild Wars 2 is actually free to play, but you are still limited. But I paid for it. I paid like the $15. I enjoyed it. You know, I don't care much about that microtransactions. I kind of find it reasonable. It's like, if I really want to support these guys, I would pay. But I'm a cheapskate, so I don't really pay this kind of shit, so... but yeah, that's, you know, Ubisoft, run some fucking dedicated servers for this shit. I would totally play this game if it wasn't like, if it just didn't have these issues that people are saying. It just, you know, also just another thing, just this game just does not feel like it'd be worth $60. There's games like this are just mostly multiplayer that I just feel like, if it's going to be mostly focused on multiplayer, release it for $30. But then again, I don't really work in the AAA industry. I have really no idea. I mean, I have an idea of how much it probably costs to make a game like this. It's really expensive. But then again, the amount of money that comes back is tremendous amounts. So, unless the game is a total flop, but this game is anything but a total flop so far. It is done very well, other than the reviews. But if you're reviewing this off the game itself, I'd probably get looking at it and seeing how the gameplay, I'd probably give it a 7. Nothing new, but looks pretty fun to play, and the graphics are gorgeous. So yeah, this is just another rant, kind of more like teaching people. I don't know, might start doing this a little bit more often. It's kind of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys later.